Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to put in a full training session here on the pitch. We're going to do a lot of tight space drills, a lot of technical work, just to get those touches in and stay sharp. Today I'm going to be training with these two footballs. This is what I usually train with. It's just a Nike match ball. But I also want to compare it against the Aztec. You've seen this one on the channel before. If you haven't checked out the video already, I tested this out in one of my 5 ball mastery skills videos. So I'll put the link to that on the screen right now. So I got a little bit of working with it, testing it out on the floor, doing some skills with it. Felt really high quality, but today I want to test it out a little bit more. I'm going to get some shots with it, I'm going to get some first touch work. So we're going to see how an $80 ball compares to a $160 match ball as well. But let's get into the training session. So we're just going to begin with a warm-up. It's going to be a really good session. Let's get into it.
So it ended up being really windy, so I'm just going to walk you through all of the drills that I'm doing so you guys can replicate the session at home if you want to. Starting as always with a warm-up, so getting some dynamic movements, jogging there and back, 45-degree movements side to side, and then getting a lot of dynamic stretching as well to really prepare that body. So for the warm-up portion, I'm probably spending 5 minutes on the physical part, and then I incorporated the ball for some dynamic ball mastery. So I went out with the Nike ball to start with, just get some touches with the inside and outside of my feet. And then I got the Aztec involved as well. So using the inside and outside of both feet, a few step overs in there, just getting a lot of little touches, keeping the ball nice and tight to my feet, keeping it under control. Also working on a little body feint, outside elastico kind of movement. And then once I've done 5 minutes of dynamic ball mastery, I then went into some fast feet just on the ladders. So I went through each exercise once just to get all those fast twitch fibers nice and fired up, ready for the rest of the session. After going forwards, I went sideways, then went in the opposite direction sideways, got some icky shuffles in there as well, just getting all the basic footwork patterns. And then once I started to warm up, I started to involve some combinations a little bit more advanced, just to work on that coordination and foot patterns. So just went through, just kind of making it up as I go along, just trying to stay within the grid, not touch the yellow or the black of the ladder, just so I'm really working on that precise footwork. And then the final exercise on the ladder is just incorporating the ball a little bit. So I'm just passing the ball down the side of the ladder, getting through with quick feet, but just working on the weight of that pass so it arrives at the end of the ladder once I've gotten through. And all I did was go through this 4 times through, and that was just a great way to get tuned in, ready to go for the rest of the session, working on some dynamic ball mastery as well, through the cone so that I have to keep the ball under even more control. And then I moved into my first little dribbling drill here. So all I've got is a few cones in the middle, probably 1 step apart. Then as you can see, I've got 3 cones spread horizontally. So that's the one you're going to perform your skill move around, just keeping the ball under tight control. And then at either end, I've got a yellow cone, and that's where you're going to perform a sharp turn. So all you're doing is just working on that ball mastery, really trying to control it in those tight spaces, manipulating the ball with the inside and outside of both feet. If you can use the sole. Then once you get to the red cones or whatever objects you have lying down to mark out the course, just work on a different move, work on your favorite move, try and get good at it. The more you repeat it, the more chance you're going to perform it fluently during a match. So after I did 3 reps total, so there and back once you've hit either yellow cone, I swapped out the Nike ball to use the Aztec because I wanted to get some touches. So I'm going 3 times through with the Aztec as well, doing the exact same thing, incorporating the inside and outside of both feet, sharp turn at either end, just manipulating the ball in those tight spaces. As you guys know, one of my favorite moves is the La Croqueta, so that was the move I was focusing on in today's session. As I got to those horizontal cones, just keeping the ball nice and tight. Then after 3 reps, I moved into the next dribbling drill. So the next drill is a bit more of a speed dribbling drill. I've placed a gate and I'm dribbling out to that yellow cone, sharp turn, then going out to either side, and I'm going around those cones with sharp cuts back to the middle gate where we began, and then we're doing a figure of 8 around that, and then we go back up to that yellow cone, sharp turn, and go to the opposite side, back to the starting gate to do a figure of 8, and then up to that yellow cone, and that's 1 repetition. And because this one's a bit more explosive, I just went 1 repetition with the Aztec, and then 1 repetition through with the Nike match ball as well. So getting a lot of different touches in here, the sharp tight around the cones, and then you're also exploding out once you hit the gate. So a combination of tight control, sharp cuts, ball mastery, and explosive dribbling. And then once you've gotten around both sides twice, that was the end of this dribbling drill, and we moved into my first touch drill of the day. So for this one, I created a box with 4 cones. Doesn't matter how big, you can make it smaller or bigger, but we're just working on high to low touches. So really working on that first touch a little bit. So keeping 1 touch head height or below, then the next touch is above head height. So we're going right foot only for the first round, doing 10 repetitions of this one, and then we're going to do 10 reps with the left foot as well. And then I just repeat the same one after this with the Aztec. So we're doing 4 rounds in total. So 2 on the right, 2 on the left. So just a good way to work on that control, that juggling. You really have to focus using the top of the foot, getting underneath the ball and learning how to put the correct weight on the ball to keep one below the head and then put one above the head. So here I'm swapping out the Nike for the Aztec, and then I'm just repeating the same thing. So back to the right foot, 1 low touch, keeping it head height or below, and then the next touch is keeping it above head height. Pretty challenging little drill, but a great one that you can do at home or in a small space just to keep your first touch sharp by yourself. It's hard to work on your first touch by yourself. You can use a wall typically, but these are great ones to learn how to control the ball out of the air as well. So let's say the goalkeeper kicked the ball up in the air and you want to get it under control. These types of drills are going to help you be more comfortable in those situations. So just on my final round here, back to the left foot, getting 10 in total, and then we're going to move on into the next first touch drill. So for this one, I've put a cone either side of the same box we were working on. Then as the ball comes down, taking a directional first touch outside of the box, pushing it in the direction I want to go. So what I do is I go 5 in the right direction and 5 in the left direction using both feet. So another good first touch you can work on by yourself. Not only is it important to get the ball under control, but if you can get the ball on the move and in the direction you want to go in your first touch, you're going to be a lot more efficient. You can actually beat players with your first touch. So instead of getting the ball down and having to dribble at them, if you're being pressured pretty heavily and you take a good clean first touch past them, you're going to use their momentum against them. It's going to be a lot easier to get away. So for this drill I did 5 in each direction, then I swapped out the football to work on with the Aztec as well, and then I did the same thing, 5 going to the right and 5 going to the left. So 20 reps in total, 10 to the left, 10 to the right. So getting a good quality amount of touches, making sure I'm getting an even distribution between my right and left foot. It's important that you're comfortable controlling the ball with both feet. You're going to be a lot better player. So here I am swapping out the Aztec for the Nike. So kicking that ball up, probably about 15 to 20 feet, not too high, then just dribbling around the cone, just keeping it under close control. Get back to the middle, kick it up again, and then go in the opposite direction. Don't worry if you mess this up, just keep practicing and get the reps in. They don't have to be consecutive. So if you've made 6 good ones in a row, then you mess up, don't start all over again, just pick up from where you left off until you make 10 reps in total. And then once I completed my 2 sets, I just set up a very basic shooting drill just to get some strikes in. So I set up some cones just at the edge of the box to the left hand side, just dribbling at the cones and then making it move, so even a little body feint or a step over, anything that comes to mind, just cutting to the inside, bending one far post, and then the next time through I'm making another move and going to the left and shooting with the left. So when I'm cutting to the inside, I'm trying to bend it into that far side netting. And then when I'm cutting to the left hand side, I'm trying to keep it low for the majority of the time, hitting a cross goal. If I do keep it high, then I'm going to shoot near post, because they're the 2 most vulnerable areas for the goalie in these kind of positions. So just getting a few reps in. I probably shot about 10 with the Nike ball and about 10 with the Aztec. So just working on that consistency, trying to get an equal amount of shots with my left and right foot, because as we already mentioned, if you can be comfortable with both feet, you're going to be twice the player. If you're only one-footed, it's easy for defenders to mark you and force you onto your weak foot. So make sure you don't have one, that you can be useful whether you're right-footed or left-footed. Keep working on your opposite foot. You're going to score twice the amount of goals, or at least have twice the opportunities and still be a threat.
So for the ultimate control test, you've got to kick the ball up as high as you can, get underneath it, control it on the ground with just 1 touch. So I'll have 1 go with the Nike, 1 go with the Aztec. It's okay? Let's try the Aztec. You guys decide which one was better. I think the second one. All right guys, so that's the training session complete. It's getting a little bit windy out here, so I'm gonna go home and we'll do the review of the Nike versus the Aztec ball. So let's go home. All right guys, so back home, gonna compare the two footballs now. So I'm putting the Aztec up against an official FIFA approved Nike football. So this is $160, this one's $80, and I wanted to train with both of them today so I could really feel in the moment the differences and the similarities between the two. So let's talk about the Aztec football. So you notice right away on the edge of the ball, it's got that texturing that you would expect from a match football. I kind of compare it to the surface of a golf ball. It's got these little dimples. I'm not sure if the camera's going to be able to pick it up, but you can certainly feel it when you're running your finger or your thumb against it. You might be able to see it a bit more here on the Nike football because I've been using it on artificial turf. But these little black dots, basically that's marking those textured little divots that you're going to experience on most high-end match footballs, and they've incorporated that on the Aztec as well, so that's really good to see. And also the weight of the ball, I didn't notice any difference in between the two, especially when keeping the ball up, doing some juggles. You still get that nice padding that you would expect from a high-end match football, and it's actually got 4 layers, so it's going to be very durable. So even if you're using it aggressively, it's going to be durable, it's going to last you a very long time, you're going to get a lot of use out of it without it losing shape. And also on top of it, it's got synthetic bladder, so it keeps that air inside for a long period of time. I actually kept this in my car for about 3 weeks or so without using it, and I didn't even need to pump it up at all today. It's fully pumped up, rock solid, and it's going to keep that air inside, which is great, so you don't have to pump it up every time you go to the pitch. It's going to retain that, so that's really good in case you don't have a pump handy. You don't need to worry about that when you're hitting the pitch with the Aztec. Because of the texturing on the ball, you notice there's a good contact area between the foot and your ball when you're dribbling the ball around. It's easy to manipulate, especially with cheaper footballs. They're a bit smoother because they aren't textured, so if it's a little bit wet out, the ball slips off your foot all the time. And also another thing I noticed compared to cheaper footballs, replicas, you don't get that balloon sensation when you're striking the ball. Seems very solid, almost that thud sensation that you would expect from a match ball. You're getting the same experience here from the Aztec, so that was really good to see. It is a classic 32 panel system, so that gives it a truer flight, and you want that when you're striking the ball. Sometimes with those cheaper footballs, the replicas, when you strike it, even if the ball's spinning, sometimes it almost has a knuckle effect because the ball is so light, so it reacts to the wind. It also has a really weird flight pattern sometimes. But with the Aztec, because it's a match ball quality, you're getting a really true strike. So if you strike through the middle of the ball, it's going to travel straight. If you put bend on it, it's going to bend in the right direction. On top of everything, the craftsmanship of the ball is excellent. It's hand stitched, so you know you're getting a high quality product. A lot of time and care has been put into the production of this ball, so you're going to expect it to last a long time. It's going to keep its shape. In terms of performance alone, there's not much I can critique about the Aztec, especially when comparing it to top-end Nike, Adidas match balls. It performed exactly the same in my opinion. You're getting that padding, you're getting that texture on the ball when you're dribbling, and you're getting that true sensation when you're striking it as well. The only thing I would like to see from Aztec, and this is more just a personal opinion, is a more neutral design. I think this looks great if it was like a street ball, maybe something you're kicking about with your friends, your mates down the park, but I would love to see another design. Maybe keep this one as a street ball variation and then have a more neutral design. I would like to see it all white and then the pattern you see on it just to be like a light grey. So you can see the detailing of the Aztec pattern up close because it is so cool to look at. Such a crazy design. I absolutely love the detail that's been put into it, but just something a little bit more subtle. So from a distance, it just looks like a plain white ball, and then up close, you can really appreciate the design. That would be my only feedback on the ball, but from a performance aspect only, really lives up to the standards of Nike, Adidas in terms of high quality match ball. So really enjoyed testing this out fully and could definitely recommend it, and you're saving half the price pretty much. $160 ball versus an $80 ball, and you're going to get that same match ball experience. So if you've never tried a match ball before and you don't have the budget to splash out on an Adidas or a Nike, I'd recommend trying this out so you can get that experience, because I love training with a match ball. Once you've tried a match ball, you know you don't want to go back to those cheaper balls because of the experience that it offers you. So if you are interested in getting an Aztec for yourself, I'm going to put links to it in the description box below where you can pick one up. Really appreciate Chaos Soccer Gear for sending this one out. I'm definitely going to be using this more and more. A great ball to train with, and I'm looking forward to getting to know it more. So thanks so much, you guys, for watching today's video. If you did enjoy it, make sure you smash the like button, hit the subscribe button for weekly training videos, and I will see you guys in my next video.